Core 2 Transformations Review Sheet question 4 is now about describing transformations but using function notation. So let's have a look at these. So the first one, we're going from, in all of these, y equals f of x to y equals something else. So in this case, y equals 2 times the function of x. Well, what's happened? The equation's been multiplied. So when we multiply by a number, that's a stretch. So something in the equation's been multiplied by a number. So let's have a look and see a stretch. Now, in this case, the number we've been multiplied by is outside of the function. That means it's the y direction. That's this line here, for those of you who've got this table. Okay, so it's a stretch parallel to the y-axis. So it's acting on the y, not on the x. And what's going to happen? Well, scale factor is just the number in front of the f here. So it's going to be scale factor 2. That's the same. This equation could have been rewritten as a half y equals a function of x. That's the same as replacing y by half y, which means the scale factor is 2. So when we replace the y's, it's the reciprocal. And when we rearrange it, it means the number in the front is the scale factor. Now on B, again here, something's changed. The x has been multiplied by a number. So we multiplied by a number, so that's a stretch. In this case, it's the x that's been replaced by 2x. So that means it's parallel to the x-axis, or in the x direction. And the scale factor, so in the x direction, x has gone to 2x, and the scale factor is a reciprocal of that, so the scale factor is a half. What about C? Well, having a look at C here again. Again, x has been replaced. This time, it's been replaced by a half x. So we're multiplying by a number, so we're still in our stretches. It's the x which has changed, so that means it's in the x direction. And so our scale factor, in this case, is going to be 2. So remember, it's a half, flips over to become 2. That's the reciprocal. D. Let's have a look at D. Well, what's changed in D? Well, D, over here, the x, all the time going back to here, y equals f of x. So x has become minus a half x. Okay, so the x has been replaced by a negative x. And that means we're doing a reflection. There's a change of sign on the x. It's a reflection. In this case, it's a reflection in the y-axis. So what we've got to remember is what's happened here with the reflection. All the x points, their coordinates have been changed. All the x coordinates have been changed. They've been reflected to become minus, which means it's the y-axis. So on the last one, very similar again here. There's been a change of sign. Okay. We've gone from y equals f of x to y equals negative f of x. There's a change of sign. Now that means we're on reflection again. So now we're on a reflection, but this case it's in the x-axis. So the y coordinate of all the points has become the negative y coordinate of all the points. So they've all become negative, which means a reflection in the x-axis.